All right. So the new EP for Seven Kingdoms comes out tomorrow. It's here. And it is called, we have
Yes.
Square. The Square is coming out tomorrow. So if you could sum up the new EP in one sentence, what would you say?
It is a fresh take on American power metal. That's about as close as I'm gonna get in one sentence.
So how would you define American power metal?
We are doing that a little bit with it's funny, I actually had this with another interview like yesterday. We're trying to it's a little more aggressive, I guess, and a little less operatic than traditional power metal. I think America's generally produced a little bit more of the like heavier portions of the metal bands. So it's just a little more. I think we have a little bit more, maybe not aggression, but like it's just a little heavier sound, a little bit, more of a kind of thing. And we just don't have as much like symphonic influence as like the typical European band.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You said that very well. So the new EP, I believe, is the first release with your new label, Phoenix, uh, Raining Phoenix Music. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, yeah. The our new record. Well, it's not our new record label, but we're with them, and that deal is new.
Okay. There might be a little delay, so that's okay. If there's a little lag time. But so tell me about this process. So tell me about label shopping. What was the process like for you going from being independent to then finding a new home with Reigning Phoenix?
We're pretty satisfied being independent. I mean, we kind of I guess we're not independent anymore, but we're still very much a DIY band. We did the independent like route because we didn't have a very good experience with previous labels. So we went the crowdfunding route, and it worked out really well every time. So when we did the Square, we are with Hard Impact Artist Management.
Mhm.
So our manager was, like Camden, trust us, like we need to get like a label involved, especially for Europe, because there's a lot of stuff we can't do that they have the 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 power to do. You know what I mean? And a lot of the festivals overseas like really want to see that label push. And obviously, we freelance like a team, but it's not like having the brunt of a full label. So our manager kind of set that up. I mean, we go back with Gerardo from RPM like a little while, just because I tour manage a bunch of other bands, and he was on Nuclear Blast for a long time on the USA side. So I've known Gerardo through the other bands like Hypocrisy and Cataclysm and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So it was a pretty natural fit once he pitched us RPM, and then Maurizio kind of put that together for us. And he assured it would be a different experience than the last time we were with them,
Mhm.
or not, with a label. And it surely has been. I mean, they've really taken good care of us so far. But we're retaining the crowdfunding aspect of our release. So I mean, moving forward, I mean, we haven't gotten the nuts and bolts sorted for the next record, but that's going to come out of the label as well. But we're still going to be doing the crowdfunding portion of it, just because like that's what we know, that's what we chose, and it also allows us to like the label has less risk because now all the money is just promotion money. You know what I mean? The band is, I mean, like we don't ask for an advance. You know what I mean? It's just I would rather them spend that, and then the crowd fund is our advance. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
like we handle that ourselves. You know what I mean? So like, I mean, even like some of the like we put our vinyl in distribution in their distribution. You know what I mean? And then they're printing a certain number of like dual cases, but it's like a different variant. So it's working really well, and I'm looking. That would be a very new like kind of deal. It's an untraditional for a band to still kind of crowdsource, but be with a label. But it's working,
Mm.
and I think that's kind of a potential new way for bands that are already like so on top of their stuff. So I'm just hoping that kind of continues because it's worked really well. I don't want to get rid of it.
Was there a negotiation process with this to come up with this ideal plan of kind of integrating the
um,
independent with the label?
I think there was. I wasn't necessarily like part of it. I mean, our manager had it, and obviously we'd already done it. We'd already produced and finished the square before the RPM thing came about. So, I mean, I'm assuming that we're all using this as a test to make sure everybody's happy, and then when we go do the album, you know what I mean? That's when the nuts and bolts will hit. But you know, the team's been really good. You know what I mean? And we've done everything that they've thrown at us, and continue to do so. And I know they're happy, and we're happy. So I think it's gonna be a good thing.
What are some of the biggest pros of working completely independent? And then what are some of the pros of being on a label?
Um, I think actually like there's there's not really any cons about it. There's just generally more pros the way that we have this. You know what I mean? Because everything with the like crowdfunding is really nice. We do it anyways, and we don't really have any complaints with it. I guess the only con with that would be with just like we don't have the brunt over in Europe or the team over in Europe. So then when the label steps in, it's all of that plus we have, you know, someone like Curtis who's arranging interviews and stuff like that. Just, you know, making sure like we have the PR team, you know, we have, you know, 10 or 20 more different people talking about the release versus just us, you know what I mean? And all of those are industry people turning on other industry people. And then we're trying to, or it's just, it's the promotional push and the distribution. And like, cause like we can't like, you know, it's just our website. It's just us like going to the spare room and like the merch room and just like getting stuff thrown in an envelope. So now we have, you know, the warehouse power, we have the distribution power, we have the promotional power. It's just a lot. I mean, it's like probably like three emotional power at least. I mean, I don't know if it's quite 10, but maybe. See,
Yeah, yeah. Did you
it's just
have
a lot. Yeah, it's just a lot more promotion.
yeah. Did you have any preconceived notions about being on a label that maybe ended up not being true?
I mean, luckily, I mean, out of our own experience, it would probably be scarier, but because I work for so many other bands, and kind of in weaved into like their not their deals, but like just being the fly on the wall, for so many other bands as their tour manager over here. You know, luckily I knew Gerardo. I knew Oscar, our product manager, because he used to work at one of the merch companies that we used. So like it was like, oh, you know, it's just a small world basically. And you know, I mean, we kind of trusted our management team, and you know, like we trust them, and if they trust it, then you know, it's a good thing. And it's also different, you know, being represented by a manager now that we actually like trust and is also well connected, because then like we don't get trapped in that like we don't get trapped in that bubble of like the label is kind of too big and they kind of just forget a little bit, you know. Now we have someone that like they can't screw up for like watching them, you know what I mean, kind of thing. So like just that like muscle behind us independently from the label, even though the label is doing a wonderful job, is always important, you know what I mean, because it's just that extra pair of eyes, always the best.
Mm-hmm, for sure. So the name, Seven Kingdoms, George R. R. Martin. So are you all actual Game of Thrones fans? Or was it just kind of, we like this name, we'll run with it?
It started that way. So the first record when like we were just like kind of coming out of high school, our former singer and vocalist Brian. He was actually like a wicked fan of the book series before it was even on HBO, and thought it would make a wonderful like fantasy backdrop for a power metal band. So he actually a long time ago he actually gave me like four or five different names that were all like you know Game of Thrones lore, and I picked Seven Kingdoms just because I thought it had like the nicest like I don't know, it came off the tongue the nicest, I
Mm,
guess. And
yeah.
so, I mean, while like the first album was kind of a concept, maybe not really a concept, but it was very much off the first book. Um, the rest of the albums were not like we didn't want to box ourselves in, I guess. So like we just kind of touched dabbled on it. But I mean, everybody went through the motions of all the Game of Thrones stuff. I mean, I haven't read all the books. I know Kevin and I think Keith and Sabrina read them. But I was more of the TV show guy.
Okay. So then how do you feel about season 8?
Um, that just that just happened, right?
House of the Dragon.
Oh, House of the Dragon. Wait, House of the Dragon or the last season?
The original Game of Thrones series.
Oh yeah, no, sorry. Like yeah, we just started watching House of the Dragon too. We're just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So the season 8, I think that I mean I thought it was okay because I didn't read the last book. So
Fair.
it's just like I don't know how it would have ended, and the other one's not there, and I don't know. I'm probably a terrible critic to like.
How it's supposed to have happened. They just made it happen too fast, so no one was ready for it.
Like I guess Sabrina's just like
She's got a thing to
she has
say.
more opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm definitely the like dragons and explosions, like sick.
Yeah. Well, how are you liking House of the Dragon?
I thought it was cool. I was disappointed at the pace a little bit,
Mm.
um, because you can tell that like they needed to save money for the last couple of episodes. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like I wish they had a little bit more money to like go like kind of crazy, but like I don't know. I mean, it's interesting because I do know I did read actually House of Dragon because it's one book. Oh, I audiobooked it, and it's interesting they took that book because there's a lot more to interpretate. Jesus,
Mhm.
I can't even say it. But but like there's less like story
Mhm.
because it's more of like an overview of the Targaryen history. So it's just like there's a lot of ways they can go in and out of that. You know what I mean? To make their own TV show. But I mean, my favorite part was the Vermithor stuff.
Mhm.
And what was it? I forgot that guy's name. The hammer guy. Um, I think he had hammer in his name.
Mhm.
Um, they, he got to he got picked by
You you might be going through a rough patch. You're freezing a bit,
and
so might take a
I
second.
can't wait to see it. I mean, there's gonna be a lot of really good, so hopefully they do it right. Oh, you hear me? Maybe. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's pretty patchy, but you're probably just going through a rough area. It might get.
Yeah, we're in like Jacksonville, I
Oh,
think, right now,
okay.
so it should be okay.
It got a little better. So I think it just a
Okay.
little rough patch. All good. We didn't get your full commentary on Game of Thrones, but did you know that there's going to be a Night of the Seven Kingdoms show coming out? So
Oh, I didn't know. I know that there was I know they're carrying on House of Dragon, but I didn't know about that one actually.
yeah, yeah, they're it's coming out next year. I mean, and they're literally doing the prequels. So yeah, they're,
Yeah, I mean
Game of Thrones is alive and well and going.
yeah. I mean we tossed around the idea about bringing like one thing back or something, but it's to be seen.
Well, and you guys were made, it was cool before it was cool. So
Yeah. No, we did a lot of it already, so
yeah, yeah. Well, still, that's fun. Well, always nerd out and always talk more about, starting not finishing the books or whatever rant you can take.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
let's
It'd be
talk
interesting how he
about,
finished.
go ahead.
No, I said it would just be interesting to see when he actually like writes that book, like how he ends it.
If we get there, Camden, if we get there. So,
Yeah,
not holding my breath.
yeah.
So, let's talk about your aesthetic. You know, there are many bands that think the uniform leather look is the way to go. But it seems that shorts, tanks, comfortable cheeseburger, house slippers, is kind of the way to go. So my question is that just kind of an inherent like Florida vibe thing? Is it calculated? What goes behind the how and why you present yourself the way you do?
It's super not calculated, and it is 100% Florida aesthetic. So it's just I don't know. We've always been like we've never been. We did a little bit of the like leather, everybody's in like denim and like metal, like we're a metal band kind of thing. You know what I mean? And it's just like we just felt like we kind of blended in. You know what I mean? So it's just Sabrina. So the cheeseburger story starts a long time ago. She was dared on stage in Europe at Metal Female Voices Fest to wear those things on stage, and she did, and it stuck, like literally from that moment.
There you go.
And then now it's just the point where it's just like when people complain about it, like they're the loudest ones. So like they're giving us all this promotion. You know what I mean? So and then people are just like burger, 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 and like you're the burger band. It's like you know what? Sure, like as long as we're the burger band, you'll never forget it. You know what I mean? So like there's a there it is. But like it's something to talk about. And the we've tried to we we like that like Florida vibe. You know what I mean? So like the like palm tree thing is something more recently when we've finally gotten the ability to have like more merch. We've kind of adopted some of that like retro 80s synthwave vibe, just because we enjoy that a lot. And then we enjoy just I don't even know how people wear like a jacket on stage, like, and then it smells like to high heaven. Like especially all like there's a bunch of bands that like I work for and like it smells so bad. It just smells so bad. And then wear it every day because that's what everybody expects them to look. So we're trying to literally go as far as we can go while like making minor adjustments to like it's mostly like Sabrina. Like she's got her like look right now, but like we're just kind of like we want to be like kind of in the background a little bit, you know what I mean? More like, I don't know. Yeah, just Hanks, just Hank's black pants, you know what I mean? It's a pretty clean thing, and so it's just kind of rolling with that for right now and just I don't think it's not selling records by not having leather on and spikes and stuff like that. So, I mean it's been a discussion. Like people have told us like it's like, oh, like what are you gonna do with your image? And it's just like, I mean, just maybe not wear logos on our tank tops. You know what I mean? Like, is that black enough? You know what I mean? Like, so it's just kind of like, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay. Natural evolution of comfort kind of sounds like what you feel kind of leads
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean, it's like usually like, yeah, we're in like, Kevin and I are between like jeans and joggers, and then like, something just like that's not super baggy on stage. I enjoy the white shoe, high top kind of thing from the old thrash days. I'm not really into the like the blue denim, but like I like the like tank top, kind of like that like athletic, almost in the gym. I mean, we're both kind of like gym nuts, so like it's just kind of that bringing that like fitness aesthetic a little bit into it. Plus, Sabrina's there too, but she's got the cape as we call it, but it's not a cape. It's just that like sleeveless dress without a yeah, and lots of sparkles for her. So lots of diamond and crescent stuff.
Why
And she's
not?
got her crown, of course, but the fans made us that crazy burger crown that she's got now.
Bit of an obsession, but hey, it's intriguing and unique. So hey,
Yeah,
yeah, works well.
yeah. And I mean, at this point in time, like they bring us, like the fans have taken it and run with it at this point in time. So if they like get away, like if it leaves, like they're going to be more people disappointed in it than not.
Yes, yeah. The fans can, yeah, have that effect. Their behavior is interesting.
Oh,
So
for sure.
when I say the term female fronted band, what comes to your mind?
Um, right away, just like a Nightwish. Is I hear the typical like operatic woman voice, which is I mean it's not bad, it's not terrible. It's just not necessarily like I don't listen to it a lot. Um, I mean it has nothing to do with those bands. Just I don't really listen to a lot of like symphonic opera stuff. So that's kind of why we're like we kind of drop the like female fronted line when we describe ourselves all the time. And it's just more like we're an American power metal band, and then it's like fronted by Sabrina, like da 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 da. Because I mean, even like like Unleash the Archers, for example, like she doesn't sound, she's not an opera singer at all. You know what I mean? The band that we're going on tour with Tharo, she's not an opera singer. You know what I mean? She's just so it's just there's a whole swath of bands that uh, I feel get looped into that kind of title, and then it sounds not like the band. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So that's what comes to mind.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I'm always curious because something, will pop in, and is it, more so of that it's a descriptor? Is it useful or is it limiting? And you have it sounds like more of like a genre or a category instead of
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
for every band that has a female in it.
yeah.
So it's an interesting discussion. And do you think that with that, there's any, strong stereotypes still within the scene? Do you experience that? Like, oh, it's a female as the front person, or at this
Yeah.
point, is it
I
not that
think at
much of
this
a
point, honestly, the people like it's not so much of a like oh like anymore because there's so many. And it's a very commonplace to have women in the bands, doing even if they're guitarist or singer or whatever. You know what I mean? Even crew members. Like I mean, there used to not be a lot of women front of house engineers. But there's been a few. You know what I mean? So it's just it's nice, and I think it's better now that it's more common because like it's easier for her. You know what I mean? She doesn't stick out as much as a sore thumb in a good or bad way. You know what I mean? It's just more of like everybody's just going to work. You know what I mean? So the big sticking point with us is that we're a power metal band from the States, and there's not a lot of power metal bands from the US that have been able to like tour and stuff like that. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of us. There's lots in Canada, you know what I mean? But there's not a lot in like the US. I mean, there's a couple up and coming bands here, but like they just haven't, we're probably one of the few that have actually been able to like do a significant amount of touring and have a long catalog with us already.
Mhm. Are there any of those bands you recommend? These smaller
I mean,
ones?
on I mean, so the Empress was one of the bands that we toured with, and she's actually on Barbara. It's crazy because Barbara can sing like anything. So like she can do the opera stuff, but then she has I don't want to take this offensively, but like she has her own voice. Like when they try to sing opera, everybody kind of has that sound, but then like they switch to like more of like a regular natural voice, and it's like, oh, there's your voice.
Yeah.
So like she can do all of it. She can scream. So Empress will be one of them. Um, Lords of the Trident is from Madison. Ty runs Mad with Power. They're one of the America sleepers. You know what I mean? He knows a lot of people in the scene, but like the industry hasn't quite caught up with them yet. You know what I mean? There's a few. I know him for Seven Spires. What am I saying? Seven Spires is here. They're one of the few people that have actually been able to do it as well. I mean, Adrian sings for Avantasia, so like they've been able to get their heads above water, which is nice for the scene. But I mean, really, the crown for North America is being held up by the Unleash the Archers gang. So they're kind of paving the way for this whole continent. Really, I mean, that's just how we feel about it. So
Hmm, yeah, well, maybe the tides will turn with that.
yeah. I mean, we'll see one day. I mean, we're happy to like, you know, they're all the big power metal bands that are filling the shows now. They're all 20, 30 years old. Like, you know what I mean? Like they've been successful for a very long time. So like Unleash the Archers is probably the biggest of the new bands, like the new generation of power metal. So I mean, they're when they pave the way, the road is wide enough for all of us. So that's kind of how we help them and push them, and vice versa. So
Yeah, absolutely. All right, this one's really important. I know we're coming up on a half an hour, but if you were a vegetable, what vegetable would you be?
man, that's a really crazy question. And I'm trying to think about the vegetable that I would be. I don't know. I think I'd be a Brussels sprout. I like Brussels sprouts.
Okay. Do
Yeah,
you make
and there's a
people
bunch.
happy?
Maybe anything that helps people stay healthy. So like I would be, any form of maybe a lettuce or a Brussels sprout. I think something from the brassica family.
Okay. Okay. That's a pretty good answer. I like that. All right.
Yeah.
And literally, the EP comes out tomorrow. You're starting a tour the next day. So you're going on the road soon for how long? What are some of the places you're hitting up?
Yeah, we're actually on the road right now on our way to Houston. The first show's in Corpus Christi on the 9th. So we're basically driving overnight from Florida to Houston right now. We're gonna land in Houston probably like lunchtime tomorrow. Grab hotels, pick the rest of the crew up at the airport in Dallas, Oklahoma City, and so on and so forth in Orlando. So we will have North America, and then we'll rest over December and part of January, and then get ready to go to Europe with Unleash the Archers and Striker in February and March.
Wow. So just, minorly busy coming up. Couple things,
Yeah,
couple things happening.
it's been a crazy year already, but I mean, for me specifically, I've been on the road. I TM'd like 4 different tours this year before this one, so
Right.
I've been out quite a bit. But hopefully next year I'll be out with my own band a little bit more rather than other people.
That'd probably be nice. I know. I think I've recently seen you. I definitely saw you out with Wolfheart. That was like 2 years ago, but I've seen you around. So I'm based in
Yeah,
Detroit,
yeah, that was the.
and
Oh, okay, that was the Flesh God tour, I think.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm always at the shows, so I've seen you around. So this time I actually get to see you guys again. So it'll be nice to have you at a
Right on.
sanctuary. So yeah, because I think was the last time you were through in Pontiac with Unleash the Archers. I think that's what.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The last time I was in Detroit was with Vader this year. I was
Okay.
there on the Vader tour, just working.
Okay.
So we were in the sanctuary.
Yeah. So you know it well.
Oh
It's
yeah,
a
yeah.
cool place. Yeah.
It's
So
a cool place.
yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Camden. This was a lovely chat. Safe travels.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully you get some good sleep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll work on it.
Yeah. Well, wonderful. And best of success with the new EP where, everyone can go get it, I'm sure, everywhere, all the places. And yeah, and hopefully, they'll go to the shows. So great chat,
Yes.
safe travel.
Thank you very much. No, I really appreciate your time and thank you very much for having us.
Absolutely. All right, take care. I'll see you in Detroit.
All righty. See you in Detroit.
Bye bye.
Bye.